in like a lion, out like a lamb. Let's see what noises all of you have been making as we take a look into the Meeple Gallery for March.
That's right. We are going to respond to all those fun YouTube comments that you guys like to leave down there for some reason, thinking that maybe someone will read them.
Yeah, it's not like we say at the end of our videos each time that we're going to look at them.
We never ask for them. You're just volunteering them. It's weird, honestly. You guys have issues with neediness. All right. Let's get started. So, Luke L. had some comments about some of the Kickstarters that were going up, including a new Aeon's End game. He said he backed Aeon's End Legacy and got all the previous stuff during that campaign, but it's all still sitting in a huge cardboard box because of the amount of sleeving that he'll have to do. But he'll probably back the new one as well. And he is also curious about Millennium Blades Collusion, the new Millennium Blades expansion. Said, I own the base game, but I haven't played it. Should I get the previous expansion as well? I think you guys mentioned that this latest expansion may streamline the base game, so maybe I'll just get this one before starting on the base game. Thanks. What do you think about the last other expansion for Millennium Blades?
All right, so I'm gonna make a confession here. I forgot to back this one, so I need to lay back
Collusion,
it.
yeah.
Yes, but I definitely think Collusion might be, because it sounds like they streamlined. Also, they had a box that fits everything. So that seems like with already so much content, you just want to.
But was there another expansion for the?
There was a smaller,
the original one. What was that one like?
I mean, it was just more.
It was just more stuff.
Yeah, I don't think anything too crazy. I think it's either just base and this one maybe would be, I think, the order to go in if you really had to choose an order at this point. But there's also the April Fool's thing they came out with a while back.
Yeah, you could throw that in as well. All right, good advice. We played Fog of Love. Well, we reviewed it. We played it and we reviewed it. But Hoser40K said, looking forward to you guys playing this game for us in a live Twitch stream. And that is something maybe we'll do.
We had a lot of fun with it. I think it was pretty hilarious, some of our stories. But that one will need to be rated.
Yeah, we are trying to start doing more stuff with not just Twitch, but in general, we want to get back into maybe doing some playthroughs of stuff. So maybe if you guys have suggestions for things you'd like to see us do, always let us know that in the comments. Now, there was, of course, a new Keyforge expansion announced, Age of Ascension. And so being Keyforge, that means people had thoughts about it. For instance, Obsidian Sirius Blackheart says, I wish they didn't push for the new Keyforge expansion so soon. I didn't get my hands on a core set from Season 1 that I ordered in November because the demand was too high. Reckless Fables said, I hope they don't start pushing expansions as quickly as they did for Star Wars Destiny. It was brutal and I quit pretty quickly because of it. And Aaron Dwyer said, I think Keyforge is a great game to play casually. Can't imagine playing tournaments though. Decks are wildly unbalanced. My best deck always beats my friend's best deck, but his best deck beats all my other decks every single time. So that's just an interesting note. But I didn't realize that Star Wars Destiny had an issue with pushing things out so quickly, and
I dropped off fast from there and not immediately.
But that's because we don't play those. Yeah,
I think I do think the Keyforge one. I mean, it could also be Fantasy Flight, but part of it is sort of because they're like there's such a huge demand. They're like, let's just get this next set out. Probably just to help make more out there. I think
part of it was because that specifically the starter set, they just didn't print enough. This is like a nice way to upgrade that.
It's also, as we thought, it sounded like a better starter set too.
It's cheaper. You don't have to deal with those.
Those basic decks either.
You don't need those. So and also the thing is a lot of the cards, some of the cards in the new expansion are old cards. So it sounds like it's new stuff, but. I mean, we'll see what happens in the future.
I do agree. I hope there is a bigger gap. You want some breathing time to get because I guess this is not as a pack of cards where you need to get the whole set or something. But maybe someone wants to find that deck you want. It could take some time.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, for what it is, I'm like, that seems fine to me. But we'll see if they push out like 2 more later this year or something. Then maybe it'll start to get a little crazy. What do you think about the balance of those decks? It's
that's been a consistent complaint. Worry I've had. Just that, you can't really do anything about it. This is the deck, and if you don't get the deck you like, whether it's good or bad, it's just
It's also hard. I think a lot of it is it's hard to take anecdotally because not to put anything on that commenter, Aaron Dwyer, but maybe I mean I'm sure give him the benefit of the doubt, but it could be that maybe someone is really good with that certain deck. I'm sure some are weaker than
that's true.
others.
I mean, we've had moments where we're like, this is overpowered in a game. We look online, no, it's not.
Right. So who knows? But I think it kind of you got to be prepared for some of that probably with Keyforge for sure. We talked about those graphic novel adventure games from Van Ryder. We have a whole discussion video on that you should check out. They're very interesting books. And Kukwez VR, that's how I'm going to say it, said these are very cool. I would love to see some mainstream artists and writers do one of these, or maybe something from IDW. What do you think about that? Doing like either a license from something else or just a well-known comic book artist? Is there anyone you think you would like to see in a graphic novel adventure?
I mean, IDW seems like a pretty easy one since they have the rights for like a bunch of great things.
And a board game connection.
I mean, I guess Didn't Deadpool have a choose your own adventure thing?
There is. Marvel did put out a series where it's kind of a similar concept where you actually had to die and you would.
And didn't Deadpool actually comment on your choices?
Yes, of course. It was a very fourth wall breaking. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
So I mean, if IDW throws their hat into the ring with this, they have Transformers, and they've actually been doing pretty good on their series, like a lot of cool stuff. And they just did a Star Trek Transformers crossover. Maybe you can do that as choose your own. They're doing a Ghostbusters one, along with that cool Ghostbusters figure. So maybe some of those crossover things.
That would be really cool. Some kind of a mechanic to try to capture a ghost. I was just thinking Hellboy would be a cool option. I
love Hellboy too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's tons of cool ones. Maybe if you got people like a Neil Gaiman or someone like that to work on something, that could be fun. Definitely. The Catan Universe digital game. Mm-hmm. This is this online version of Catan that is free to play, but sort of not really. It's on every platform. We reviewed it, and we got a great comment here from Dilated Catan. He has Catan in his username.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe it's Dill-lighted? Dill-lighted?
Delight or dilate like eyes?
It's D-Y-L lighted. I thought it was an I, but I think it's Dill-lighted.
Okay.
Great name. Anyway, he said, thanks for making this. Your production quality is super high. We do our best. I play on Catan Universe quite often, and I can relate to every single one of these misses you're talking about. A few things I wanted to mention. The base game only has a single 3-player map. You can only play on this map unless you pay for the full game. It gets repetitive quickly. The servers have always been pretty notorious for kicking players out. The AI has been complained about for a long time. A lot of these issues have been reported over and over again, but not much has been done for over 2 years, sadly. With that being said, I still somehow managed to play there weekly. And also another person named Sand24 said Catan Universe is horrible. They ruined online Catan community by closing the previous platform, which never had any connection issues or bugs.
Was that the one we actually played back on PS?
No, I think there was another free-to-play one. And the developers still think they're doing the right thing. So I mean, I guess some people like Dill-lighted are finding a reason to go back to it, but clearly they're not. They're doing some stuff wrong.
Good on you for staying in there, even with all those misses.
Yeah. I mean, if you got to get your fix for online Catan, and you don't have a VR headset, that's where you're gonna go, right? So
I guess so.
So there's that. Now, another big thing we talked about was the Magic the Gathering losing their MSRP.
Right.
Very weird thing that their future sets won't have a suggested retail price. So TapCat, who often has some very well thought out comments, by the way. Props to all you people who are commenting.
Oh, I thought the way you're phrasing that, like, he often does, but this time.
No. Tapcat said, I'm afraid Will's instinct that removing MSRP for Magic the Gathering is anti-consumer is true. MSRP is already a guideline rather than a hard rule, so stores often sell cards for less. When pre-ordering a full booster box, it's widely expected to get a discount. If a set is especially hot, a store might charge more than MSRP shortly after release, but they'd risk getting branded as greedy. This could give them more cover when they overcharge their customers. Another issue is that Wizards of the Coast has taken heat for prices on some sets, such as Ultimate Masters, which was triple their normal price.
Yeah, that was actually the big one because the Ultimate Series line, initially, there was like 5 of them, I think. The first one and the 5th one are the ones people liked. And the first one, they're like, oh, release this. And it turned out to be really big. so it got really sold at a high price. So like, oh, we'll make this one good, but we're gonna sell at the the markup, like eBay scalper price.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were not happy about it.
So that's not good. Tapcat continues. With no MSRP, the price Wizards is charging will be obscure. They may believe they'll take less flack from the fans. I think most Magic players will figure out the pricing either way, but this adds a layer of obfuscation. Ooh, that's a $10 word. So that making an informed choice will be just a bit harder than it needed to be.
I will say, after that article, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about on the show, Modern Horizons was announced.
Mm-hmm.
And they did say the price of packs for Magic Online will be $6.99. So if they still put the items on Magic Online, people will probably be like, okay, if that's the price that it's there, back when we had MSRP, if it's at that price, they'll have an equation. So people could still find out what the MSRP should be.
Yeah, I guess that's one way you can do it. There's loopholes, maybe.
Yeah, for some things, but I don't think everything comes on the online. So I found that interesting. I'm like, oh, so you still sell it that at a fixed price?
Yeah, it is weird. I guess it's just a different marketplace. I don't know, but yeah. When does this first set come out? Do you remember?
End of April.
So we'll find out very soon what happens. Yeah, that's.
I think it's end of April.
It's very weird. All right, Kevy B leaves a bunch of comments, and this guy's got some things to say. Kevy B said, "Okay, Jonathan." Oof, directing this at me. I feel I must tease you now. I've tried to ignore this for months, but you had to whip out that Word Crimes shirt. I have a shirt from Weird Al's Word Crimes song, and then say my own personal word crime at least 6 times. Actually, 4 of the most unnecessary syllables in the English language. It is a weak adverb like really or very, and there are so many that are actually descriptive. He used actually there. Gotcha. Its true purpose, as demonstrated in that last sentence, oh no, he was doing it on purpose to trick me, is to refute what came before. So he's upset that I used the word actually unnecessarily multiple times. But Kevy B's ire and wrath has come at you as well, Will.
Oh, are you kidding me?
He leaves another comment.
I fail at the English language if I had to take the class again.
He had another comment. So, Will, did you... this is from a review video we did. I can't remember which one specifically. Did you iron that sleeve so it is permanently folded up? It is triggering my OCD something severe. If you expect me to pay attention to whatever you're talking about, I will need fewer distractions. For future reference, I also hate whenever the game on the shelf blocks the upper dice art, meaning the game box is big enough that it covers the dice on the wall of our review set. So Kevy B has a laundry list of problems that he's shared with us, grievances, if you will.
That shirt didn't get folded very enough, so I apologize. Yeah, that's on me. The game box, so I'll take a look at that. Usually I try to make sure it stays on the shelf. Usually,
I'm sure Fireball Island or something.
I had to, when we have a long box game like that, I have to push everything over, take that die, make sure the books don't fall off and stuff.
I'm sure these comments were mostly meant facetiously, but we do try to make our language good. It's sometimes a struggle, but
I don't.
Constructive criticism is helpful. We try to cut out our weak words like actually and
me no good at words
and like and other things like that.
Well, actually,
let's get back to the real deal of board games here. Kareem Thalgard has some Kickstarter recommendations. He wanted us to check out Napoleon 1807 and That's a Wrap, which are both currently on Kickstarter with several weeks left. Would be great of you to include them. Those might not be on there anymore. You'll have to double check. I don't know, but check out Napoleon 1807. Well, and That's a Wrap.
It could be possible, like I said, with Money on Blades. I know they're doing a late pledge thing, or they were. I haven't checked if they put it up yet. So maybe they have a late pledge thing too.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we never got around to including them as our own picks. There's always so many each week, but we appreciate you shouting those out. Another Kickstarter that we didn't talk about. Julian said, "What did you guys think of Invictus?" Watch the How to Play videos, and this is one we didn't have as a pick, but I do remember we actually looked at. This was the deck builder game that was based on Greek mythology, but it sort of looked like the art style looked something like Destiny or Halo.
Yeah, I remember. I was a little bit like confused about it.
Yeah, it sounded interesting. I definitely was intrigued by it, the art style and the way. But yeah, it was a little unclear to me. Maybe I didn't dive too in depth into those videos about what really kind of separated it from other deck building games. But it seemed like it had the production value was strong behind it. So I don't know.
But once again, it's been some time since then, so.
Invictus may or may not still be up, so you guys can check that out. Chad Stilson, said maybe you guys could make a top expansions of 2018 video. I'm curious where Rise of Fenris would stand. Love your content. Thank you. Maybe that's something we could start doing in the future. It's for us right now. It's very difficult to play everything, and expansions get even less time because we're always trying to jump to the next thing.
In particular, something like that could be a little harder because that is a campaign of 8 stories. So we are planning to get through that, hopefully, within the coming months. But
yeah.
That's the other big problem.
It's a hope. It's a good suggestion. We take the note. Hopefully, in the future, we can get to it.
That's why we usually try to do like we did the rankings for like Legendary DC and stuff, where we just take all their expansions. Like, all right, they have enough. We're gonna just rank which ones we like.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We're talking about that Kingdom Hearts Talisman game that was announced, and since then they also announced the Batman Talisman, which is another property that I don't think either of us would have ever predicted.
No.
Really weird. Giga Gaming Gamer said, I would have wanted a Kingdom Hearts board game with its own rule set and gameplay, but I'll take what I can get, considering the closest thing it has in tabletop presence was the trading card game published by Fantasy Flight back in 2006.
Fantasy Flight actually did a trading card game for it?
Yeah, I didn't know. But I think Kingdom Hearts would, I think probably any license you would prefer it to get its own original rule set than be adapted to another one.
Oh yeah,
right?
No, that's true.
But
once again, I think getting something that's not a trading card game is always great. Not that I'm complaining with my Transformers one, because I think they're doing a pretty fun job with that. But it's nice not have to get random packs.
Yeah. So that's maybe a step in the right direction. Alpha Omega asks, have you guys ever played or talked about Kingdom Death on your channel? The answer is no. But maybe in the future, if people want that, that's something we can...
If you want us to talk about it, we'll take a look into it.
Check out as well. Yeah, I'm always happy to hear about older games that you want us to discuss as well. We also talked about QR codes recently and how you were trying to come up with, you had remembered there was a video game.
I think I put it in the video.
Oh, maybe you did. Well, the Ernie Force still decided to comment saying that Watchdog had QR codes. He also said, shout out to Infamous Second Son, which used ARG to blend the video game and the internet. You had to use the internet to solve a mystery, so it can be cool when games
do a little.
Those.
We enjoyed that in Detective.
That's right, and it was the new graphic novels adventures on Kickstarter are the ones that are using QR codes again. Falcon Ash K also said, I played with some scanners handheld Pokemon style game. You scan barcodes to get more digital monsters and battle friends.
I had that with the Jurassic Park game. You scan for DNA pieces and I got stuck at an Ankylosaurus.
But yeah, I remember when that was like a mini craze.
Yeah, that was...
You'd go to the supermarket and like scan soup cans and find a monster. So weird.
Now think about that. How that couldn't happen now, because it'd just be like there'd be a thing online, like here's a gallery of all the best scans.
Right. Yeah. I guess Pokemon Go kind of is the new evolution of that in a way. Teotihuacan. It was a big old board game that we reviewed. And Tim Tegan said, I feel like a kid in a candy store when I play this game. A very complicated, confusing candy store at times, but the choices are scrumptious. As I go around the board, I'm running from the gumdrop jar to the licorice jar to the jawbreaker jar, back to the licorice jar. It's remarkable. I love it. Great analogy. That is.
I think it is because it doesn't feel like, because you can change up the game with all the different modular components. And because of what bonuses and stuff, it doesn't feel like there's I'm just going to stick here. Like, it always feels like there's a lot of fun stuff. And that just, once you can wrap your head around that, it is really fun.
I will say appropriate examples with licorice and gumdrops. I think it's old people candy store. It's not Milky Ways and Snickers bars and fun
Reese's?
stuff. No, it's not. It's not any of those. It's gumdrops. Rico Cordova said, "This and Heaven and Ale are the best new to me games of 2019. I've heard people have similar comments as yourselves about it being a touch complicated and lack of references. I didn't have any problem. I've played it twice so far, and the winner of both games did not have the fourth worker. The fourth worker is a valid strategy, but is not as powerful as most other worker placement games. Here it's just equally powerful as the 389,823 other options. It seems to be a well-balanced game. Haven't heard of the solo mode, so can't comment there." And he said, "P.S. It's good to see you guys reviewing heavy Euros. I generally don't watch reviews much, but this was so surprising I had to come back to check it out to see what you thought." Yeah, it's another, we always try to, if you want to see more of them,
yeah. So
let us know.
Yeah, give us suggestions. That will always help. And yeah, I'm glad that with the worker thing, because I mean, all the other games are always like, just go straight for the worker. It also happened, I think, in some of our games too. We always had the bonus that reward you for like a whole bunch of points if you had more workers at the 4 and 5. So that usually sort of leans it. But if that wasn't there, then the fourth worker definitely takes a hit.
Right, yeah.
Which is great, once again, going back to the candy store.
Yeah, all those candy options. Yeah, so Teotihuacan, if you haven't tried it yet, if you're not sold on it yet, clearly, if you like those kinds of games, it's definitely worth a pickup. So that's very exciting. We got a comment that I really liked on an old video for a playthrough we did for the Catalyst RPG, which is from Cherry Picked Games, indie RPG. And Falcon Ash K said, 3 years ago I had 4 active players with my D&D 3.5 and Pathfinder. Now I only have 1 player. I just bought this game and am now learning the rules. So that's awesome.
Sweet.
Because we had a lot of fun playing Catalyst, and it's one of the, there's so many of those RPGs.
I miss my character from that. Maybe I'll try to bring her back into something else.
We had some cool characters in it. It was a lot of fun. So
maybe if we do Shadowrun, they'd fit there, I think.
yeah. Maybe we'll do some Catalyst streams in the future. I don't know. Falcon Ash K again has another question about role-playing. Falcon Ash K asked, "How many role-playing games have you played, and do you play one more often than the others?" We have played far less than probably we should. Unfortunately, it's just so hard for us to get groups together for those.
Yeah, and as of recently, people have been spreading out more and more, getting busier and busier.
I mean, certainly the one we spend the most time in is D&D 5th edition. That's really where we played through the whole starter set. We did a bunch of campaign where I was the DM. Haven't delved too much into the content they've released past that in terms of scenarios, but we're always hoping. We're always trying to get more in the new year. Probably between us, like half a dozen RPGs we've played between us, maybe more than that. Maybe like between 6 and 10 or something, but none that we've ever really devoted that much time to outside of D&D. We did a fair amount of the Fantasy Flight End of the World RPG. We've done a couple like one-off weird indie ones that I've backed on Kickstarter and stuff, but let us know.
You got some zines coming.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of zines coming. Let us know if there's any RPGs you'd recommend or you want to watch us play, stuff like that. That's always very cool. We're definitely going to look forward to try out the new Pathfinder when it comes out later this year. We reviewed Mario Party. Jeffrey Scott said, "Neither of you have a black eye, bruises, or look like you've been crying. Are you sure you played Mario Party?" Oh wait, team mode. I see. Great content, guys. Yeah, that's true. You can get angry playing Mario Party.
Actually, this is all CGI.
Yeah, we filmed that months after we recovered from had our casts taken off and everything. Just last week, we had a Kickstarter in which one of the picks was a game called Ghost Star. And this is a solo sci-fi horror themed game that is still up on Kickstarter right now. The Accidental DM commented, "A little surprised you guys didn't address the controversy surrounding Ghost Star," and several people chimed in to discuss this as well. This is something I was totally unaware of.
Yeah, we did not know.
Wasn't aware of it.
We mixed it.
As far as I could tell, it was all confined to the comments section of the Kickstarter, and basically we usually don't look at the comments unless
that week too was
we're backing it. You were away.
Yeah, so
we were recording from 2 different places. But in a nutshell, for people who don't know, it seems like, from what I can gather, the person who's doing the Ghost Star Kickstarter was previously involved with another Kickstarter that was never delivered. And so people are, but from what I can tell, and I mean, this is an example of hopefully we're not steering anyone in the wrong direction. And if you are worried at all, don't back that game.
Yeah.
But from what I can see, you know, the creator, he's commenting, he's updating. It's not a situation where, like, usually the red flag I think we see is if there's no rule book, there's no gameplay video.
Right.
That's a little scary, but he had all that stuff laid out. So the game seems like it exists. Maybe it ends up not being delivered, but I think this, I'm optimistic. It seemed to me like maybe this guy wasn't the reason that other one didn't go through. But you always got to look at these things with a grain of salt on Kickstarter. You got to be careful. Hopefully it all turns out okay. Maybe be careful with it. I don't know. Some people were saying that they were backing it anyway and just hoped that it would work out because it's not that expensive. But I don't know. You can definitely go to that Kickstarter page and read those comments because a ton of people are talking about it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up, though. Like I said, it was a weird Kickstarter, and we sort of trying to get everything to work, and online we sort of maybe rushed it. But this is something you should be considered and think about when you look at Kickstarters, is if you see this kind of thing. And maybe if it's too much to worry about, as you said, don't back it. But as you said, if you see the creator really trying hard to be there, that could be signs that he might not have been the reason. But this is all up to you.
Yeah, we'll try to be more vigilant in the future about anything like that to make sure we don't steer you towards it. One time, Evil Dead 2 was one of my Kickstarter picks, so no, we're not infallible. Sometimes these things happen and it's hard to predict. One last thing before we go. Chris sent us an email via our website where there is a contact form. You can also use that to send us questions or comments. And he wanted to know what was going on with the audio form of our episodes, the podcast form, where usually we always put out audio versions of our episodes that you can download on iTunes or whatever your podcast host of choice is. So lately we haven't been doing that because we just transferred all our stuff over to our brand new website, which is up now. And in the process, that audio stuff needs to be switched over. And we've also come across the fact that, to put it bluntly, very few people take advantage of the audio versions of our content. Really, the large majority of our user base, our viewer base, is on YouTube. So right now, we're still kind of figuring out what we're going to do for the near future. I think we're not going to have audio stuff going up. We may rework that. We may rethink that. Let us know, people, if you're out there, if you're one of those people who is listening, if you have any suggestions for things like that. But right now, we're not doing it. I feel bad because I know, for me, I sometimes like to listen to things via audio, but for the foreseeable future, it just kind of doesn't really make sense for us right now, unfortunately. But again, talk to us. You know, things, who knows, things may change as time goes on. We're definitely working on maybe some kind of audio stuff. It's a little tease for the future that may not be the same as what we're doing right now, but you'll see what that's like.
But for now, we hopefully will see you again when we enter the Meeple Gallery. There's a lot of places you can reach to us in the comments down below. As you said, our website now has a form, but there's also Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'd love to hear your suggestions. If there's any games you really want us to play or an RPG you want us to stream and stuff. We're trying to get more. As you said, we did that one stream to start up. Hopefully do a little bit more soon. And we have a schedule plan, but if we know that there's a game a lot of you really want to see us play, we'll do our best to try to get in and play it.
Absolutely. So thanks again for all your wonderful comments. Thanks for being fans and watching. We love you all. My name's Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this was Roll for Crit, or the Meeple Gallery.
Don't forget to click that like button and, of course, subscribe for even more excellent videos.
I subscribed and now I'm rich.